Hi there, this is Liz Starr, and welcome to Jersey Village, home of the Falcons. First, a little background information. All public primary and secondary education in the state of Texas is governed by the Texas Education Agency, or TEA. This organization is driven by laws created by the Texas Legislature, the United States Congress, and administrative rules set forth by a number of other state organizations. The district for which I work is Cypress Fairbanks ISD, fondly referred to as Cy-Fair. We are the third largest school district in the state of Texas, trailing Houston ISD and Dallas ISD respectively. Within Cy-Fair, there are 12 high schools. The very first high school in the district was built in 1935 and boasts a rich history, including a visit from then First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, officially rendering it a historic site. My campus, Jersey Village High School, or JV or JVHS, was the second high school added to the district 37 years later in 1972. The graduation rate in the United States is currently at an all-time high at 84.6%, and in the state of Texas it is at 89.7%. Cy-Fair as a district has a rate of 93.4%, and Jersey Village's graduation rate for the most recent high school year was 95.9%. So given this information, wherein lies the problem? One performance objective each school year for Cy-Fair at large is to increase the graduation rate in all student groups by between 0.1 and 1%. Jersey Village was unsuccessful in doing so last school year. In addition, a mission statement recently established by the new JV administration heralding all Falcons will graduate with a flight plan is in direct response to the most recent TEA accountability report. This report is published each year for every district and public school campus over which they have jurisdiction. In turn, districts and campuses are required to develop a campus improvement plan, or CIP, to address each problem and to set measurable goals in an effort to make verifiable progress. This is where the problem begins. In the CIP dated August 2019, JV cited the root cause of not meeting their original goal that was set for student graduation as students do not feel connected. Building relationships is key. That's it. That's all that was stated. This statement alone, however, does not adequately address context or any of the key features of accountability in education proffered by Starr and Kirby and suggests little in terms of goals or accountability structures to address the issue. According to the key features of educational accountability, Starr and Kirby posit that the questions to be asked and answered are: who is to be held accountable, who or what entity or entities are holding them accountable, what precisely are the expectations, and what consequences will be enforced if goals are not met. These questions are not addressed in the JVCIP. Although it could be argued that school connectedness is typically the responsibility of the administration, counselors, coaches, and teachers, nowhere does it specifically state who is to be held accountable for setting the specific goals to that end, nor does it outline who will be held accountable for not adhering to them. In the CIP, there simply were no performance measures or indicators established to assess the accountability problem or the improvement thereof. So the question of who is being held accountable and for what still remains. Dowd discusses comparative and aspirational purposes for benchmarking. That is, aspirational entities provide a model for improved performance. Those campuses deemed aspirational for JV had a graduation rate that is greater than 1% or higher than that of Jersey Village High School. Of the 12 high school campuses in the Cy-Fair system, there were only 4 that could be considered aspirational entities. Langham Creek High School has a graduation rate of 97.4, and in their CIP, they cited a focus on the attendance rate as a way of improving their graduation rate, and further stated that an increase in attendance will likely promote a higher level of school connectedness. This directly mirrors the JV key focus for increasing graduation rates. Cy Ranch, another campus selected as part of the aspirational group, has a 98.1 graduation rate. They stated in their CIP that they would be expanding their senior watch list to incorporate students who are in danger of not graduating. While this is a different approach from that of JV and Langham Creek, the fact that their success rate is already so high, yet they too are expected to make improvements, serves as an example that's worth following. Further, the analysis therein may serve to offer interventions worth replicating. Bridgeland High School and Cy Woods High School have graduation rates of 99% and 99.1 respectively. Because Bridgeland is a new campus, they were exempt from citing a specific focus or plan to address the 1% dropout rate. Comparatively, however, Cy Woods, built in 2006, has a long-standing reputation for excellence, and despite their impressive graduation rate and goal of increasing it by a mere 0.5%, of all CFISD campuses, they offer the most strategies to combat the fact that they are below a 100% success rate. Most of their proposed interventions are comparable to JV's, spotlighting school connectedness and building relationships. However, their plans were far more specific and detailed. From the perspective of Clark and Estes' KMO gap analysis, there are some significant differences between the campus's foci on the problem of graduation rates being below goal. Regarding knowledge, for example, it's difficult to discern if those variables such as efforts to improve school connectedness, attendance, or even implementing academic interventions are causal for dropout. Nor is there any guarantee that these proposed solutions will indeed result in an increased graduation rate. In addition, no one would argue that there's motivation to achieve a 100% success rate whereby every Falcon will graduate with a flight plan, but motivation is likely to wane over time if efforts are not somehow matched by results, or if the expectation of perfection is perceived as unrealistic. Gladwell proffers that even when a variable seems objective, it can often still be difficult to measure. Such is also the likelihood of measuring what seems to be salient solutions to those variables. This is the case with what can be presumed absolute data, such as high school graduation rates. It is therefore difficult to assess whether the explanations offered for the current graduation rates are accurate, let alone if the proposed solutions from any campus aimed at increasing school connectedness will indeed result in higher rates. Further, there's no clear communication regarding specifically how individuals or teams will be held accountable should they not participate in the new required interventions or if rates decline. There are far too many recommendations to mention here that could effectively impact school connectedness. Most importantly, it's not enough to merely implement interventions and to measure them for measurement's sake. In order to have truly effective leadership that fosters positive change, such as an increase in school connectedness, all interventions should be assessed regularly to gauge effectiveness and altered or overhauled pursuant to the needs of the students so that they feel as though they are not only a part of, but also a contributor to the JV community. With a new administration and therefore new and different approaches to campus improvement, it will take time and extensive analysis to assess not only whether those things cited as causal are indeed so, but also if any currently planned efforts will truly be impactful.